Hi, this is Mark from Mark My Words. Welcome back. If you are new to the channel, special welcome to you. Today's video is part 2 on a 2-part series called How to Get Unstuck. And today's video focuses on money, getting unstuck financially. Yesterday we did a video on how to get unstuck without time, the 2 most important resources when it comes to making a mighty comeback in our life. But today's video is about money and how to rebuild financially. I've got 7 things on the whiteboard here I want to go through with you. These are 7 things that I did to help me fast track my comeback. Now, before I start this, I just want to say this. I don't want to be just one more talking head when it comes to the subject of finance, because look, there are so many great educators out there on this subject who are far more wealthier than I am, and at the moment, and they are better articulate, better communicators. However, I think that if you're in the midst of a setback right now and you're facing into some really tough times and you've been through a business collapse or a marriage collapse or a relationship collapse or all 3, then the gap between where you're at now and where you need to be to begin the recovery journey can feel like it's quite big. So the purpose of this video is to help you bridge that gap between where you're at now and where you need to be to begin the journey to recover financially in a mighty way. So these are 7 things, 7 keys here that I adopted that really helped me fast track my comeback financially. Hope you enjoy them. The first one is, it might sound simple, but the first one's number 1 is ensure that your income is greater than your expenses. You think, duh, Mark, that's pretty basic. I know. But do you know that to be true for you? And when was the last time you did a cash flow statement or a profit and loss statement for your own life? Now you might be sitting there thinking, hey, I got that, I'm covered. I know exactly where I'm at each month. That's great. I'm really glad that that's you, and you're well done. Thumbs up. But if that's not you, this is your first step. Now you think to yourself, well, I'm not good at this. I really don't like doing this sort of thing. Can I just challenge you on that? That was the old you. This is not the new you. The new you says, I love knowing where I'm at financially. I love knowing where every cent's going. As bad as it might look, like in my case it was bad. I had more expenses than income. I didn't have a surplus each month. I had a deficit when I did this for the first time after my marriage and business collapse. And so I had more going out than coming in. That's a scary place to be, I can tell you. I had $100,000 worth of bills I couldn't pay from a failed business collapse. And on top of that, I had 3 gorgeous kids I was putting through private school. I had family, child support to pay. I had my own personal expenses, my own, protection, insurance, asset and personal protection bills, other residual debts from a business collapse. It was a tough time, and I'd lost my confidence. I had no revenue from any business. I had to go back and get a job. I had 20 years in business, right? All went up in smoke, poof. And so I had to go back and get a job in corporate life after 20 years of being self-employed. You don't reckon that was a paradigm shift? Goodness me, that was a massive adjustment. But, when you want to recover really, really bad, you'll do whatever it takes. And this is 90% of it right here. If you want it really bad, you'll figure out how to do it. When the why is big enough, the how-to reveals itself. When the why-to is big enough, the how-to will reveal itself. It always does. When you know why you want to do it and you're passionate about it, and you've got people in your world who love you and you love them, and you're doing it a lot of times for them and for you, you deserve making a mighty comeback. So step number 1 is make sure your income is greater than your expenses. Do whatever it takes to expand your income circle and reduce your circle of expenses to create a surplus. And then number 2 is once you get a surplus, it's savings. Now, how much should you save? You should save 10% of what you make. So if you're making $4,000 a month in income, save 10% of it, $400. Okay. Now I get often asked the question, should I use that $400 a month and reduce debt? And the answer is yes, you can. But I think it's a better return on your investment by saving that in cash, partly because you'll see it grow. But also the big win in that is the psychological boost you'll get from seeing cash saved. Now you think, well, how does that work? Well, when you see an account growing in value, it does enormous benefit to you when it comes to making a mighty comeback because your confidence grows. So do both. Reduce your debts and save 10%. Okay? Do whatever it takes to save 10%. Then number 3 is to use a portion of that 10% that you save, and you're going to invest that into the most important investment you'll ever make. And that is in your own education. You take a portion of that savings and invest it in education. Now what do you learn? Learn to improve somehow and increase your capacity and value to the marketplace. So if you're in your mid-30s, mid-40s, mid-50s right now and you've had a radical trim to your financial situation, you've had a massive setback, to recover to a place where you're stronger than you were before in the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to need to create an asset or assets. It's going to be very difficult for you to create wealth and recover beyond where you were from working a job. Now, is a job important? Yes, it is. I went and worked a job for quite a while after my marriage and business collapse, and I'll explain that in a second. But to create an asset of value to make a mighty comeback financially, you're ultimately going to need to create an asset. And you do that by taking some of your cash flow from your surplus, or your surplus from your cash flow, your savings, and invest it in your own education into a subject that you're really passionate about. And then from that subject, from that education, you're going to create a side hustle. Number 4, you're going to create a side hustle. Side hustle to create more cash from the education that you get. And where do you get educated? You can get education. Education is everywhere these days, online. A lot of it's free. Who in your world do you know that is doing what you love to do very well? When you find that person or people, you're going to find they'll have a course somewhere online that you can buy, that you can subscribe to, register for, and get educated on how they did what they did so you can do what they did. So in the thing that you're passionate about, in addition to working your job or your traditional business, you're going to create a side hustle in the thing that you're passionate about from someone who, and you're going to learn from someone who's done it really well, and they're teaching you from experience, OPE, other people's experience, and you can get hold of that education online, educate yourself, transfer some of that time from watching television and relaxing to educational time after hours and on weekends. Oh, but I like my weekends. Yeah, so do I. But you want to get your life back, get your financial life back. You're going to have to sacrifice some of those weekends in the short term just to re-educate yourself, to fast track your side hustle, to create the cash flow to get you out of the mess you're in financially. Does that make sense? Excuse me. Number 5. So side hustle to create more cash. Number 5 is to use extra cash to grow your side hustle. So once you just create a side hustle and you educated yourself around that, you're going to learn to expand your cash flow and your income using your job and also your side hustle. Okay, your business, your online business, your side business, your whatever that might be, in the thing that you're passionate about, right? And so you're going to expand your income. So now you're going to have a source of income from your side hustle. And number 6 is you're going to actually create another side hustle, right? And you're going to learn from the confidence you've gained from creating your first side hustle to create another side hustle. And that's going to increase your income capacity. And then you do that really well from people that have done it very well in the thing that you're passionate about. It's going to come one day where you don't need to work a job or your traditional business because your business is your side hustles. Okay? And they have real value because they're creating ongoing recurring revenue. and income. Now they have value, they have asset value, and that's yours. You own that. Okay? And generally, if you've got a business that makes X amount of money per year that's, has a recurring nature to it, it's worth roughly 2 times, 3 times perhaps the total income per year of that business, net income. So now, if you've got a business that makes, $100,000 a year in recurring income, that business is valued commercially at around $200,000, $300,000. A couple of those, there's $500,000, and you're well on your way to recovery. So it's how you use, from the video we did yesterday and the first video in this series, how you invest that time that you have after hours and on weekends to educate yourself around adding value to the marketplace in what you're currently doing in your job and your business, and on top of that, using that after hours time and weekend time to create the capacity to generate a side hustle in the thing that you're passionate about. When you do it in the thing that you're passionate about, you'll find the energy. You always do. You'll find the passion. You'll find the drive. You'll find the motivation. It'll help you recover quick. And then number 7, the last step is use the surplus cash flow from your side hustle, from your new businesses, to buy assets. And an asset, by definition, is something that puts money in your pocket. Okay, and that's how you fast track your comeback financially. That's a 7-part plan. So when you have a plan around these 7 keys, all of a sudden now you go online, not just to be entertained anymore, you go online to be educated from people who are doing it really well. And you're going to find there's a host of information out there that you can apply to your own life and to your own side hustles to really ramp up your financial capacity, to make a mighty comeback in your life. To learn more about this, I've got in a link below a video. It's called a free webinar, Comeback Heroes webinar, free. You can have a look at that. Click on it. I'll flesh out this in more detail. It'll help you a lot. Register for the webinar and apply the principles. And good luck with your side hustle pursuit. I know you can do it. Your best days are ahead. And until next time, I'll see you on the next video.